Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on Arcserve 10,000 series appliances. It's great to have you on and hope that you'll find information that I will be sharing today beneficial. My name is Hugo Parra. I am VP of Product Management here at Arcserve. I've been with the company for almost 8 years now, and it's been a great pleasure to see the progress that we've made throughout these years in responding to the needs of our customers have. Today, we'll be talking about the 10,000 appliance, the journey that has taken us here, and the great value that this solution will deliver to our customers, to you and other partners. Before I get to that piece, though, I'd like to provide a little bit of background to set the stage for the value that the 10,000 appliance will offer to you. An interesting piece here is that we have been tracking and following the growth of small and medium businesses in the industry. And we have come across some very interesting statistics. First of all, we realize that, and I think we all should realize that the SMB segment provides 70% of the employment worldwide. It's a significant presence. I think sometimes we forget to understand and realize the contribution and the footprint that this segment has in the global economy. And because of that presence, malicious individuals have noticed that they can disrupt this environment greatly if they can just target this segment in a global manner. It's interesting to note here that 82% of all ransomware attacks worldwide are targeted at this particular segment, companies with less than 1,000 employees. That is a staggering statistic if you think about it. I think sometimes SMBs think that, because of what you read on the news, is this large corporations being under attack, right? That maybe the rest, the smaller size on the small end of that spectrum, can just sneak under the radar, but that is actually not the case. As you can see here, a significant amount of attacks happen precisely on that smaller side of the spectrum, where some of those companies would think that they are unnoticed by some of these attacks. Now, an interesting stat that it's the Accenture reported in a recent report is that 68%, this is more than 2/3 of the SMBs worldwide, feel and recognize that the risks of being attacked are increasing. So there seems to be awareness that there's no exceptions to this problem. At the same time, I think what the paired statistic to this, while more companies are realizing that they're not exempt from this, only 14% of those companies feel that they are actually prepared to deal with some of these cyber attacks. This is an extremely concerning statistic, and this is, I think, why solutions like the 10,000 series appliance bring a great relief and a great plan to contribute to how our customers, how partners, how organizations can plan in this segment even for these types of eventuality. Just to complete this train of thought, 1 in 5, right, 20% of companies that 24 years ago were identified as SMBs are now in the larger spectrum. So what this tells us is that, today you're at this place and with a certain profile, that planning for that growth and having the flexibility to expand as your growing needs evolve is critical. And again, this is another area where as you will see here momentarily, the 10,000 series appliance provide great relief and support as you plan for that eventuality. So with this scenario, right, of no one being exempt and those attacks being on the rise, what can you do to be confident that you are prepared and protected against some of these cyber attacks, and how do you bring up your resilience against those scenarios? Here's just a few thoughts, again, in preparation to the rest of our discussion. Number one is do posture is everything, right? Being aware, I think participating in webinars like this, comparing notes with others in the segment, consulting with experts, and just planning about figuring out what those risks might be and where are gaps in your environments, in your solutions, is a key aspect. That journey starts with that awareness. Number two is protecting your systems. And here's where Arcserve and the 10,000 appliance and UDP are great solutions. This starts really closing some of those gaps that you need. And obviously, all security, all cybersecurity is a tandem of solutions, right? Stacked on top of each other. But backing up your data and your workflows is an immense step forward in being protected. Testing regularly. UDP has offers assured recoverability. This is a great, and I fear often an underused feature in this product, which allows you to test regularly on schedule, right? The fact that you can actually recover from that the plans, that all the backups and everything that you're putting in place actually is delivering the value of you being able to recover. So we encourage you to use that. Number four on this list is detecting the intrusion, right, and reporting those incidents. This is a broad subject. No doubt that there are multiple tools that you employ to do that. With UDP 10 and the 10,000 appliances, we have brought into the product, into the mainstream of backup and data protection, the ability to scan backups. Again, a subject that we'll touch in here, but you can start seeing a pattern here, right? Best practices on how to protect, and how we have, through our product portfolio and capabilities, start mirroring how the tools themselves can help you, right, be proactive about doing some of this work without having to have a complete separate thread of thinking and complete separate set of experts helping you to do some of this stuff. And finally, you need to have a plan for how to recover from incidents, right? And make sure that you have, it's hard to plan for what will be available, what platforms will be there, which platforms would have been affected by a potential attack, and what you have in place. So in this particular aspect, flexibility of recoverability, right, and the ability to be able to get back on your feet, right, with dissimilar environments and even less requirements that you would normally use to run your operation, is something that is critical. Again, just setting up the stage for some of the things that we'll discuss as part of what UDP 10 and in this particular case the 10,000 series appliance will offer to you. So with that as a preamble, let me just officially announce the launch of the Arcserve 10,000 series appliance today. December 10th marks that date. And with that, what I'd like to do is tell you a whole lot about what to expect in there, some other timeframes for when the availability and when we can start purchasing the appliance, and when you can expect this to start actually shipping to you and other customers. But before we get into that, just a high level on how the appliance works. Now, anyone who has used Arcserve appliances in the past, whether it be the 9000 series or others, are familiar with this picture. But let me just recap what to expect as far as the 10,000 appliance, because the picture, well, is similar to other what we've seen in other with previous models and series. You'll see that there are some enhancements to what we have in here. Number one, you look at the UDP appliance here being placed center on both charts, right? And that is because it is actually the embodiment of the UDP software that is residing now in the same place where you would store, right, maybe the primary target for this backup storage. and at any of this at your customer location, right? So the beauty of the appliance is that it is marrying the intricacies of having the perfect configuration for that storage, not only for the purposes of storing backup information, but also to provide a platform for failover in a case where the original environments that you were protecting, those platforms may not be available after a certain attack or a certain mishap. And having a platform on which to fail over those workloads is key, right, for your environment. So you have this center, front and center in your environment, but you will notice that it is integrated. It is not a disjoint solution to it. It is integrated with everything else that is in the ecosystem inside a UDP implementation, all the way from being able to identify what is protected, right? It is absolutely in support of all the different protection scenarios that you have in place, whether it be protection of different workloads, physical servers, VMs, desktops, other things, whether it be through an agent or through an agentless approach, right? And whether it's some of the other applications, some of them high-end Oracle, SQL, Exchange, different things that to be protected, all come under that same umbrella of this UDP software that is running inside this appliance, right? And with that comes also the central management that is available both through an on-prem console and a cloud-based console, right? All the benefits come where you can manage those appliances, whether it be one or many, whether it be side-by-side, a software-defined implementation, potentially in a different location, right? It all comes under the same management experience. Now that is your customer location, but what the appliance will allow you to do, because of the software that is running, is to support all the various replication scenarios that are part of a UDP environment, right? Where you can go over a LAN or WAN to go to another remote location where you may have deployed a similar appliance, and this thing will basically communicate with each other, or whether that be a place in the cloud where you can, again, be replicating information there for at least two purposes, right? One is to have an offsite copy of the data that you are protecting, right? Which is crucial nowadays. And by the way, more and more of our customers are not satisfied with one copy of prem, right? They actually, there's many reasons why we see an increase of the number of copies and the requirements for more sophisticated control of where those copies go and how they get there, in the time and the SLAs required for those recovery points to be made available there. It's becoming increasingly important. But also the other piece, that what you have this, whether it be another location where you're running UDP or a cloud location, is to be able to do failover, right? And add support of whether it be a virtual standby and or an IVM, immediate VM failover, or some of the costs. It's great to have this infrastructure, this framework, through which you can have the protection that you need with all the different options that are required for that. So again, UDP appliance playing a very nice and central role in many of these implementations, and playing really nicely side by side, whether it be other UDP appliances, the cloud, or some software-defined implementation of UDP. Now, some details about the appliance itself. As we get ready and start kick off the launch of this machine, of this option, you will see here that we have done a good job at providing different options for our customers. Now, right here on this table, you are seeing a few different options, 7 different options on what we call the DR models, right? All the DR models are based at a 2U factor appliance. We are working in, and the effective capacity here starting for 48 terabytes, going up to 576 terabytes, right out of the out of the configuration you purchase, certainly with the ability to expand beyond that, right? All these machines can grow. In fact, if you see here, the largest piece is 15% larger than what we offered with the 9,000 appliance. And this is again acknowledgement of the fact that our own customers, are seeing growth in their environments, and so we are raising the ceiling to be able to accommodate those needs. We are working, just as a side note here, we are working on producing some 1U options for our customers. That will go a little lower in the effective capacity, usable capacity, to what you see in here, and will meet the needs of some other customers that require and rely on that 1U format factor for them. And you can expect those to trail the U2 options by a few weeks. But what we're launching today is this 2U. Notice in here as well that everything in these DR appliances spells out redundancy, right? Both with dual CPUs, dual power supplies, RAID 6, and RAID 1 for hard disk and solid state, respectively. So we are adamant on providing systems that can withstand the rigors of your environments and protecting them as needed. Another thing to highlight in here is where this configuration shipped, like you see here on the list out the door. There is room for expansion, both by adding hard disk and also RAM as the needs would allow. So one of the things that our customers would want to do is look at the range, right? What their starting needs are that might be 5 years later, and select the right appliance, the right model, where it's the starting point. And then with each one of these things, you will see the range of what the expandability for each one of these appliances. And it can just be a great decision just to see and plan for the future. But it's very simple how you do this thing. Not need to use additional bays in your in racks or other things like that. Basically, you are adding those resources to the boxes that you purchase right on day one. So it's easy to plan for it. And it's great to do what you need to do there. Now, a couple more things here is that we're moving to have as our distributor with the 10,000 series appliance. We're working very closely with Supermicro to do this. Now, the great news about this is that is just maintaining and in some places increasing the interoperability with these appliances we have with any IT environment. No need to customize things to make changes to those environments. These are appliances that we fully expect will just be deployed and will play nice with everything that you have in those environments, making them a very easy solution, turnkey solution, we like to call it, to everything that you need to do. All right, so with that as a highlight, let me talk a little bit about some key aspects, some key benefits that will come to you by choosing the appliance approach to consuming the UDP capabilities, right? Number one, it is an all-in-one type of solution for you, right? We take great care to make sure that the software that is installed in there, which is the UDP 10, is designed to work great with that particular hardware. We do intense testing of the capabilities, of the performance, of the scale, so that when you purchase this, you are confident that of the capabilities and the range of needs that this will take. It's just tailor-made for that. Along with that all-in-one solution comes the peace of mind of knowing that the support for this solution is also a unified single approach, right? Both the software and hardware. No need to go knocking on different doors. You go to one place, you get the need that you need, you get the answers that you're looking for, and then you're up and running and making sure that you have an optimized solution for protecting your environment. Number three is a deployment. right? This being a appliance deployment within an hour, we expect that our testing shows that a customer can reasonably expect to be up and running, providing the backup and protection that our customers need, and being able to be up and running, fully operational. So this is an easy deployment for that does not require you to ramp up IT skills, go hire expensive resources to be able to do this. This just can just work well within the budget that you already have in place for managing, whether it be UDP or a similar solution. And last in here, obviously, what I mentioned earlier, the ability for all these components to play nicely. We have different options for network configurations and other things that you would expect in this type of solution. They're all supported from the get-go so that these things can just be dropped into the environment where you need them to work and have that work nicely with what you have in place. For more benefits, really quick before we go into other details, is that again, UDP not only because of the software that is running in there, but testing with all the broader ecosystem that comes with UDP. That is certainly part of what we do as part of getting these appliances out of the door, and that includes not only the UDP software, but some of the other options that come with it, whether it be RHA, whether it be other options to work with tape and other things that you would expect from a full feature capability. All that integration is tested as part of this appliance. The performance comes not only the way that we have tweaked and tested the performance against our own software, but the fact that unlike other implementations of UDP, where some of our customers run that side by side other workloads, right, as they share resources, whether it be on a VM or an actual physical server, the appliance is dedicated to this backup with this data protection, this UDP software, and for that the performance of it can be more predictable, often more predictable than some of the other options out there. Security is enhanced not only because of all the new features that we put in here that I'm going to talk about, but also by the fact that you're running this on-prem, right? And you can make sure that you have the appropriate restrictions, whether it be physical or software restrictions and limitations for access and protection of these machines. They are within your realm of governance, and all that can contribute significantly to your comfort with the level of security that you're providing for them. Lastly, the way that the appliance is licensed is just a great and simplified model, right? Which is you purchase that on a subscription base for the type of for the capacity that is in the appliance itself. So it doesn't, you don't worry about how many sockets you're protecting, how many VMs, how many machines, all that, right? All that, as long as you have planned to have the capacity in this appliance to store that data that is being protected, the backup to that data, then all your different licensing needs are taken care of. Should you start running out of space in there, we have the options to expand that, both, like I mentioned earlier, both through disk capacity expansion, RAM expansion, and then the licensing that you purchased along with those expansions is factored in, so that all your licensing per capacity-based licensing is taken care of. So incredibly simple for our customers to be able to project, the overall expense, the ROI for these solutions, and our goal is to make that really simple and easy to consume. So lots of great benefits. What I will tell you next, though, is one thing that I think has been sort of the underlining component. So when you think about the 10K, the 10,000 series appliance, you can think of in terms of two great things that it brings to you. One is, the new hardware platform, right? Upgraded requirements for it, and basically what you need to have the different models, the different added capacity. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is the fact that it's coming out with UDP 10. So to that side of things, I'm going to spend just a few minutes talking about some of the things that at the very least you want to keep in mind as you consider the deployment, the purchase and deployment of this 10,000 series appliances. Just a few weeks ago, we released UDP 10 to the market, and we have had a great response to it, both because of the message, both because of the set of capabilities, and also because of the experience that our customers are having as they're deploying this out. When we launched UDP 10, we emphasized these 8 different areas of value for the product, and it's a way to simplify the vast number of new features that went into UDP 10. Today, I'm not going to be able and have time to cover all 8 areas, but I do want to cover the first 4 of them, as I believe that they dovetail incredibly nicely with the setup that we had on the cyber resiliency at the beginning of this session. So without further ado, let me just talk about these things in that order. First of all, UDP 10 and the 10,000 appliance by association are delivering a feature that is brand new to our customers. We call it assured security. Assured security scans come to enhance malware detection in the data protection in the backup data itself, right? So we have now expanded our thinking and our capability in it to be able to provide our customers the ability to run malware scans on the data driven by plan, by policy, right? So you can, we have, as we talked to many of our customers and analysts, we came to realize that not only is the backup data a larger and larger target of malware attacks, right? Because basically it's a way for them to take out the ability to restore, right, and recover from some of those attacks. So that's become a primary target now. But number 2, we also realized that for many organizations, while they're dutifully dedicating a lot of cycles to protecting their regular production environments and systems, backup data does not receive the same attention. So what we're doing with UDP 10 and the 10,000 series appliance is bringing that to the center and to the mainstream of your data protection, scanning that data that is there according to your particular needs, right? Depending on the sensitivity of the data, depending on how critical those systems are, right, can happen as frequently as you would want to do that via plan, right? You can say, yeah, for these things, I want to scan them weekly or daily if you want to do that. For some, it may be less frequent, and certainly we have the ability before each restore to also say, I want to run some of these scans, because what I don't want to do is at the time of restore have the possibility of introducing to my environment some of those malware that would basically perpetuate the problem. So not only can you do that via plan, but we allow you to do that on an ad hoc, on-demand manner. So you can go and decide that a particular, maybe you're grown suspicious seeing other environments, and you want to say, I want to make sure that none of this data has been affected by whatever else you're seeing in your environment. You can run all this. And what we've done with UDP 10, not only have we integrated when these things can happen, the triggers for when those scans can happen, we've also baked into the reporting and alerting capabilities the ability to see the result of those scans. So very quickly, the visibility, first of all, the ability to run the scans, we're raising that, right? We make that mainstream, but also the visibility of those results is also being elevated, so that you can at all times be able to tell if there are any risks, if there are concerns with using that data after it had been backed up and stored for any period of time. Last thing I would say here is that the integration of this is such that it doesn't matter how you're protecting the data, whether you have an agent base, whether you're protecting entire VMs, whatever, or if it's a database or anything else that is protected through our solution. You can apply some of these scans this Azure security benefits to it, to that data. So it allows you to have a uniform way of applying an added value, an added level of security to whatever it is that is valuable to you, and that you depend on to be able to restore to. Huge. And by the way, this is a thread that we started with UDP 10. You will continue to see enhancements around this Azure security in upcoming releases. This is just a very important. We've gotten a lot of great feedback, some of them good ideas on how to continue to expand what we're doing in here. So this is an area you can pretty much expect to continue to see us providing value as we go forward. Okay, number two in this area of disaster recovery is adding flexibility. As we talked earlier, the ability for you to be able to recover is just adds to your security and resilience posture, right? And one of the areas that we have received feedback for some time was very positive feedback on our standard virtual standby capability for recovery pieces, right? In this provides probably a unique way to recover from anyone else out there. Immediate VM recovery is something that is keen to many other solutions, but this virtual standby stands out in being more immediate, and it been actually the success level of getting things actually fail over is just increases because you're prepared, right? You are actually preparing a VM in advance that within seconds you can actually have ready to fail over something that just went, that got under attack, that became unavailable, and you have that. One benefit of virtual standby, and this is not a new feature, is that recovery happens very quickly, right? Because the VM has already been generated, you're ready to go. But the other benefit is that it allows you to fail over to any dissimilar environment, right? You can go from physical to virtual, from physical to cloud, from one virtual platform to a different virtual platform, and to one cloud to a different cloud, or any combination of those, right? Which is critical if you think about it, because you can't always count on the same original platform to be available, right? When you actually need to restore. It's quite possible that is exactly what has been attacked. Now you need to go to a different location where you may not have the same platform available, or to the cloud. That particular aspect of it became a huge demand, a request from our customers. So we have added this feature, which called ad hoc or on-demand virtual standby, right? And it allows you to, without this upfront planning, right, or the process that is involved, the processing that is involved in converting that new backup data to a VM, and the storage that is required to keep around different VMs, right, that represent the options that you want to recover from. You can do this without planning up front, right? So you can just say at this particular time, even if that VM is no longer available, I have the backup data, and from there I want to generate this virtual standby, ad hoc virtual standby recovery, and you can do that. And the benefit of doing that is that it preserves, it brings to the table now all the flexibility on being able to fail over to any similar target, right? And so all the benefits that are part of that second big benefit of virtual standby now become applicable to any environment. So yes, you would want to have the standard virtual standby piece for those workloads and those systems that you want to have up and running within seconds, right? But the other ones, the ones that, it's okay if it takes me an hour to get this thing back up, but up and running, but I need to guarantee that I'm going to be able to get this thing up and running on a dissimilar platform. It's key to me, and now we can have that in here. And along with that, I'm not going to go into detail, but there are other areas where we have also made it possible for you to be able to recover without impacting the performance of the current ongoing data protection, if that still is operable, but also without having to have a extremely similar environment on which to replicate. And for that, we have this read-only data stores, and also notice that we have spent time looking at instant SQL recovery, which also enhances the path. It reduces the number of steps, right, that it takes to recover from some of those pieces in your environment. And it allows customers that are familiar with the operation, for instance, of a SQL database, right? We get you really quickly to where somebody who is familiar with the operation of that can now start recovering and selecting the things that they want to recover, whether it be tables, whether it be other pieces, other fields. We get you to that point very quickly so that recoveries can be done in a faster and more secure and familiar way. The third item here has to do with increasing the resiliency of your environment by making it easier, more predictable how you create copies of your database, of your backup data in multiple locations. Now, the ability to replicate multiple locations is not new, right? We've had in the past, we basically select an RPS that then you can use to in sequence be able to replicate this to multiple destinations, whether it be in the cloud, whether it be an off-prem, whether it be somewhere else, right? And that's worked for some time. But what our customers have told us is that oftentimes it has some limitation. One is that the RPS might not be that is selected by default, is not the place where the most optimal place where that replication, that fan out needs to happen, right? And so it has some limitations. And number two, the order in which these things are replicated could guarantee that the last recovery point that is created comes out at an unpredictable time, right? Because it just takes time to do all those things in sequence. And frankly, in some cases, many of our customers have SLAs around a window, maybe each day, maybe once a week, where all this work needs to be done. And not having the predictability of when that gets completed can be problematic. So what we've done with UDP 10 is we added this one-to-many replications. Is actually the term of that is an oversimplification. We've done two things in that particular feature. One is the ability to decide if you want to do things in serially or if you want to do those replications in parallel, right? So you can decide that in this particular place, I need to start these replications side by side at the same time because I want them to, first of all, I have enough resources to do that, right? So I'm not going to be breaking anything down. And number two, I want to have, this gives me the best chance to meet an SLA, particularly maybe with one or two of the destinations where I need to guarantee that the recovery point is going to be available when I actually need it, right? So number one, the ability to select between in parallel replication or serially. But the second one that is not as obvious from that term is the ability to select what RPS on which RPS to perform this piece, right? This particular replication, and that's important because you as a customer know the resources and where is the best place that either has the bandwidth that is required to do this, or the actual resources, or the contingencies, right, that might exist there or not exist in there because you plan differently to be able to perform that. That flexibility allows you to then ensure that you have this the backup data and the copies of that data where you need it, when you need it, and with that, increase your resiliency posture around your business. So this becomes an important piece, and in some cases actually helps meet compliance requirements around recoverability and resilience in your environment. The last item that I will cover here for UDP 10 highlights is the ability for the fact that we have continue to be focused on the user experience, right? As a manager, we know that as an organization, we know that one of your highest expenses is in the time that it requires on human resources to maintain, to make sure everything is operational. So we are keen on making the experience more streamlined, more intuitive, right? And to do more things from one central location. So to that goal, we have added a number of enhancements to Cloud Console, which continues to become an attractive and increasingly attractive option for our customers to be able to do management of everything from one single location from the cloud. Currently, we have some plans in the future, but currently from the cloud, and being able to do that, whether you have multiple sites, we have multiple data stores, whatever, right? Being able to do that from one single pane of glass to be able to do that. And so we added new capabilities in there that we know that in some areas we had some gaps in what you can do there versus what you could do on the on-prem console. So we have increased that. And there are a couple new features that feature exclusively in the cloud console piece. One of them is audit log. You see the list here on the second list on this slide on the left-hand side. I'll just mention audit log because this is something that a lot of our beta testers became excited, gave us great feedback, and it is that the ability to manage and configure a UDP environment is of great concern to our customers. But not secondary to that, but just at par with that is to know what configurations, what tweaks have been made since somebody actually established that this was the standard approved configuration. And so having an audit log of any changes, right, who made those changes, and a trail of that becomes very important to be able to not only meet the requirement once, but making sure that level of optimal configuration is maintained, right? And if it's not, the reasons why that is not happening. So this becomes important, again, as part of hardening an environment. All these things combined provide a great set of capabilities in UDP 10, and now combined with the benefits of a new updated hardware platform in the 10,000 series appliance becomes a great value to our customers. So we start summarizing some of the things that we have discussed today, and hopefully you found valuable. Why, given everything that we've discussed, what are some reasons to choose the Arcserve 10,000 appliance? Obviously, we've done I believe, a great effort in trying to make this be a turnkey solution, right? From the beginning to the end, from how the customer will order this appliance as a bundle of the hardware and software all in one piece, and the options for how to purchase it. That you can see here that we can we know where the lifetime of these appliances is often anywhere between 5 and 7 years. We know that our customers sometimes need to be purchasing it in incremental pieces. So we are offering 1, 3, 5 years, both software and hardware maintenance options for people to purchase that, right? Allow them to get the value into their environment, and then increase and extend the life of that value as their needs require. Number two, we provided the right options so that our customers can right size, what appliance they have to the specific location, while managing everything from one place, right? There are a variety of models, and all of them provide the ability to expand, right? So that you can plan for that as well, not be locked into a specific size and try to guess all that right from the start. As we know, everybody is growing, and with that you get that flexibility, and it's you just again trying to make it very simple, making sure that this thing works well with everything else in your environment, fits well in there, and that all your needs for support and questions you might have about running and using this appliance can be directed to one vendor, which is Arcserve, and we'd be more than happy to help you be successful with that. I think the last thing here to mention is, okay, so we're excited about it. We understand the value. When can we get our hands on some of these appliances? So today is launch day for the 10K appliance as part of this webinar. So hooray, right? We're all celebrating. Next is in just 3 more days, the customer will be able to place orders for this appliance. The price books that we actually send out 30 days ago include the SKUs that are ready for ordering this piece, And so again, in 3 days, that's transactable, and you'll be able to start placing orders for that. And then in January, starting in January this coming year, is when we will start fulfilling and shipping those appliances and making sure that those are getting to the destinations as quickly as possible. Though this launch and the GA for the 10K appliances are worldwide release, so you will have access to this and be able to benefit from this great value coming to you. So all these dates are imminent. We're excited about getting this to you. And what I would ask is, if you are interested in seeing a demo, getting more details about what we've covered today, even if you have questions on some of this content, that you use this code to get sign up for a demo and get additional information. And we'd be more than happy to provide you that information as you request. With that, I'd like to thank you for your time and wish you a great rest of your day, and hope to talk to you guys very soon. With that, thank you so much. Talk to you soon.